I love thinking back of the last 10 years of our neighborhood association. I've lived in Muncie for 8 of those 10 years. And over the last 10 years, we've seen a resurgence of energy in our neighborhood. We've seen new residents come into our neighborhood.
I think people have seen the value of neighborhoods, meet neighbors, grow a community, raise issues, and really build a more resilient Muncie.
Trying to pull people into the association or trying to make them understand the value of having a neighborhood and being committed to making it better. I don't give up, though.
I think that the Neighborhood Association does a lot of amazing social events, cleanup events, planting trees. I think the list goes on and on.
I remember early on in the neighborhood association sitting around and talking about how we wanted our neighborhood to be a place where people wanted to live, not just where people lived because they didn't have other options. And now I get phone calls from people who are asking me to find houses in our neighborhood where they can live because they love the sense of community that's there.
I think our neighborhood has become more community oriented because we've had so much help coming into the neighborhood. Over the last 10 years, we've been able to take that and extend that help beyond our own neighborhoods.
We've grown the festival. We've planted more trees, been more involved in community events.
The amount of folks that engage in the neighborhood has definitely changed in the past 10 years. I mean, going from meetings where there were like 4 people and very few people at the cleanups and all the other events that we have to having, you know, a super successful autumn event, always having enough people at our cleanup.
Our neighborhood association was born in 2019, so we haven't been around quite 10 years just yet, but we've made ample attempts to make big changes in the short time that we have been a neighborhood association.
And I'm also, encouraged by the professional relationships that our neighborhood association has developed. Landscaping companies in the community, food trucks in the community.
We've helped install 2 physical parks in the neighborhood that never had parks.
And then since MAP became active, they've helped other neighborhoods get organized. And it's just kind of nice having a larger group of people to kind of bounce ideas off.
What inspires me to do neighborhood work is healing. I love to be in a place to be part of healing things that are broken. It's a really pivotal place to sit in our community at the neighborhood level to be able to address problems that run throughout both individual lives and systems. And so I love neighborhood work.
To get to know the people around us, and once we had kind of one, like we all call them now, like literal cup of sugar neighbors, it was like we wanted all of our neighbors to feel like that and make our neighborhood feel smaller and let people meet their actual neighbors and have those people that they can then have as like cup of sugar neighbors.
Oh, it's gotta be the results that I see from the things that we're doing, the people that are helped.
Every time we come back from just a neighborhood meeting, I feel kind of buzzed and energized. And I think that then the work that other neighborhood leaders do that we get to share at places like the IDEA conference helps drive that energy further coming out of there and gives us ideas of what we can do.
My biggest inspiration are our neighbors. They continue to strive to put forth their best foot and help us with many different tasks and events that we choose to hold each year.
We have an immense pride in the neighborhood that we live in. Kenmore loves to gather. We love to celebrate the nature that is our neighborhood, and we're especially appreciative of the school that is in our backyard. And so we love to come together to see how we can do things that will enhance and grow and better that.
I think in part because I love Muncie. I care about our community, and because the community feeds me, I want to help nurture it.
I also see a lot of examples around me, and I think that when you see people around you getting involved in the community, it makes you also want to get involved.
There's a culture of caring, a culture of volunteerism here that I don't think you necessarily find in other communities.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in my neighborhood, and I saw it when it was a neighborhood, and then I saw it when it started to become uncared for. And I just got the idea that I could make a difference. You started seeing results, and that just kept you going.
In the next 10 years, I'd hope to see a lot more community service work being done by our neighbors, a lot more interactions with the businesses and entities in the city of Muncie, and just partnerships throughout.
Well, I see a lot of the kids who we've known maybe living there. I know some of the kids who've grown up in our neighborhood want to stay in our neighborhood.
I mean, if we're dreaming big, I'd like to see fewer rental signs on the neighborhood lawns.
Imagine the positive. I'd like to see it be a lot better, more commitment from the community. I know what I'd like to see, what I want to see. It's what I talk about all the time, what I point out to them and try to get them to understand. You know, we'd like to get rid of the blighted properties. Mow the lawns, you know, let's do some landscaping, plant some flowers.
And I also think revitalization through big projects, for instance, like the project that's happening with the village redevelopment right now.
I see bike trails coming in the next 10 years and more walkability from the neighborhood to campus and downtown.
In 10 years, we're going to see an increase in health, an increase in our education.
I see more public art because I see more people that are being driven down to live in the neighborhood, because in the last year we have been able to work with an alliance of developers that will be working in developing housing and new housing in our neighborhood in a central part of it.
There's been ideas about arts and culture trails and all kinds of big things that Muncie has been talking about, and it would be great for the Old West End to be a part of that.
In 10 years, I see a more connected community. I see people saying hi to each other, people waving to each other.
And new people coming to our neighborhood, people who have lived there for a long time still sticking around, and people just wanting to connect with each other.
We see continued gathering. We see and we hope for the continued support of the community as a whole.